Welcome to Go with Kyle Harbaugh. By combining traditional business building methods with AI, Kyle helps law firms, financial advisors, and a variety of businesses thrive in a changing world to build custom growth playbooks to success. Now, here's Kyle.
Welcome to Go with Kyle Harbaugh. By combining traditional business building methods with AI, Kyle helps law firms, financial advisors, and a variety of businesses thrive in a changing world to build personalized roadmaps to success. I'm Evan Mack, and today we're talking about the succession planning. Whether you're trying to scale yourself out of daily operations or thinking of your long-term legacy, this episode is all about building a business that doesn't break when you step away. This is Beyond You, how to future-proof your firm with succession strategy. Kyle, sir, welcome back.
Hey, it's great to be back. Thanks a lot, Evan.
Good stuff. So why is succession planning something most firm owners delay, and what risks does that create if they do delay?
I think some people, they don't like the idea of them stepping out of the business. They enjoy practicing law. One of my clients, they're practicing still and they're in their 80s. So I think that some people, they really enjoy working in the business, and that's okay. Other people, they see it as a big part of their identity. And so if they stop doing it, they wouldn't they wouldn't know what to do with themselves. There's other people who they just haven't given it a thought. They're just busy in the day-to-day operations of things. They're providing wins for their clients, and they're not focused on that area. So it could be a variety of reasons, but those are some common ones that I see.
What does a solid succession plan actually look like for a law firm advisory business?
Yeah, so I mean, it's all customized around what do you want. So it really depends. And one of the clients I'm working with right now, they're not necessarily looking to get completely out of the business. They're not looking to sell it, but they are looking to take a step back, empower other leaders to run separate offices under their umbrella, and really build a methodology for serving clients that is repeatable. So it really depends on what people want and where they want to go. Like another one of my clients, I asked, well, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And they're like, my ideal outcome is I want to create a business that is very, repeatable, and I can sell it. I'm creating assets that, are transferable. And one day I would like to sell my business and just hang out on the beach.
What's the difference between planning for a vacation versus planning for, that true long-term continuity?
One of the things you got to think about there is unexpected disruption. So it might be one thing that you have a vacation, it's coming. It's a different thing when you have a medical emergency and you don't know how long you're going to be in the hospital. You don't know what it's going to take. You don't know what your your cognitive ability is going to be. I'm aware of several different attorneys who had major health issues, and they had to step away from their practice for 12, 18 months, even longer. I mean, if you're running the firm and you're leading the firm and there's no other, leaders to really make those decisions, that is a huge risk. If you don't have a plan, your business is going to fall apart. I mean, quite frankly, unless you're back in it relatively soon, if it's relying on you, you really don't have a business. You have a job.
How do you help business owners, these owners shift their mindset though, from like I do everything to building a business that runs without them if something like you just said comes up?
Yeah. So one of the things, actually goes a little bit beyond succession planning. I really help businesses understand that if the owner is the key decision maker, they might know how to do everybody's job, but they're limited by their abilities. That you're actually far more scalable if you bring in other leaders who have other skill sets that complement yours, that bring something new to the table, They either have a new network or a new practice area or maybe new connections, expertise, something to really allow you to grow bigger,
Mm,
and new skills that allow you to you're not limited by just your skills. Now you have somebody else's skills to lean on. So I encourage people to see the advantage in partnering with other really good qualified people that can help take up some of the load from you and also expand your skills so that you're doing something even bigger and better.
what are the first steps a firm should take to start grooming that internal leadership or maybe a successor?
A lot of times owners think that they need to find somebody like kind of almost the opposite of them.
Mm,
Like they need somebody who has those complementary skills, and that might be important, or excuse me, they might have look for skills that are outside of theirs. And while that could be important, it's also really important to look at what your strengths are, and can you fill somebody in who has similar tendencies, similar skills, so that if you stepped out, somebody is filling that role as well and is strong in those areas. So you really need to look very holistically. Like I mean, that's my approach to a lot of these things. You got to be able to, look at new opportunities, new ways that you can expand expertise or connections, but then also look at what you bring to the table and replicate that. So
mm.
how do you replicate that? You gotta document it somehow. You gotta teach other people about it. A big part of that is leadership, and you having a vision, articulating that vision effectively, persuading other people to come alongside of you, and then encouraging them along the way to when it gets hard, to have them stay the course and stick to that vision and see it through.
So, how do you evaluate whether someone on your team is actually ready for that leadership position?
If they've never held a leadership position, they're gonna fail. But here's the
Mm,
thing, everybody fails. And it's not so much about failing. Failing is actually really good feedback, and it's
I
not
agree.
fatal if you don't treat it as such. But a
Agreed.
lot of problems are come when somebody fails. They've made a really honest, good faith attempt. It didn't work out for whatever reason, and they get fired. That's not a good situation. And if that happens in your organization, nobody's going to stick their neck out. Nobody's going to want to step up for that leadership position because they know that there's more risk involved. So being comfortable with failing fast, managing it well is really important. And then I would look for those other traits that are very difficult to train. So one would be initiative. Like, do you see somebody in your organization who's just consistently stepping up, who's volunteering to solve problems, or maybe sees problems and just solves them? They don't even ask permission. That is a leader. That is somebody you want on your team. You should elevate. Another one, are they in a good mood?
Mhm.
Um, People who are in bad moods, they're not very motivating. They tend to, you know, they don't add anything to the culture. They might be a great attorney, but maybe they're should be stay as an attorney and not be elevated to a leadership position because their skills aren't going to be or their demeanor is not going to add anything. So
Mm,
while it can be tempting to promote people who are senior or really good at what they do, not everybody needs to be in a leadership position. Not everybody should be in a leadership position. There's other good traits. And then the other thing that you need to think about is um, schooling. You need
mm,
to have formal
mm.
schooling. There's some of these leadership principles that are counterintuitive,
Yep.
and you're not going to learn any other way but by having formal schooling and then applying what you learn in an apprenticeship type of situation, and then allowing that person to make a little mistakes, fail, because they'll learn so much. You I can tell you all day about how a hot stove is going to hurt you, but you will learn much more effectively if I just let you touch that hot stove.
What tools or processes do you recommend to document institutional knowledge so it doesn't live in just one person's head?
Yeah, so it might be standard operating procedures. It might be look more like a playbook. It might be just communicated vision that is read consistently, that's posted, that people actually refer back to. One of the firms that I spoke with, they they have a very big practice. They're in the 8-figure realm, and they said that it was a little awkward, but they created a vision statement, and they would have everybody recite it in a meeting regularly. Like they meet every 2 weeks, and they would pass it around and read it.
Wow.
And I know that can seem a little like culty, but it's really effective.
It's
People
working.
can, yeah, yeah, yeah. So it is a different approach, and some of this stuff might feel awkward, but if it's very thoughtful, and there's a good reason why you're doing it, and you can explain that to people, I really believe people will get behind it.
You have a story where succession planning made a big difference, or one, maybe the lack of one, created major problems?
I have a few stories. So okay, so one I'm thinking of. There was an attorney. I was a part of like an office sharing type situation. He suddenly died, and it was a total disaster. Cases, like, we didn't even know where the cases were. He had no type of succession planning, no kind of some there's actually insurance plans that will hire an attorney to take over your cases if you died, and wind them down, finish them up, wind down the business, all that sort of thing. This guy didn't have any of that, so that's one of the horror stories. um, a good one would be one of the clients I'm working with right now. We figured out what makes him special, why he is, uh, what is his secret sauce,
Mhm.
and now we've come up with ideas on how to transfer that knowledge, from voice recordings to written documents, to really train other people on his way of doing business, what's important to him and to his customers. And that's been really, really good. And this is somebody who, they were working lots of hours, and through our thoughtful process, we've worked with them in a few different capacities now. We've been able to build all sorts of different infrastructure. They're working far, far less, and they're really working on their business, not just in their business.
So, what's one thing a firm owner can do this week to start thinking about succession maybe more strategically?
Well, I'd get clear on what you want
Yeah.
long term. That's where everything starts. Is what is your vision? What is that end state? Or here's a great question: what's your box top like? And what I mean by that is, uh, when you do a puzzle,
Yep.
the first thing you do is you flip over the box top, and
Yep.
you look at where you're going, what you got to build,
Yep.
and then where are those pieces and how you put them together. Get clear on what your box top looks like, and what's important to you. Do you want to practice until you're 80? Do you want to scale, and you're a named partner, but you're not taking on any cases, you're just managing things from afar? Like, those are very different outcomes. And are you like, one of the other big things is, do you want to be a mentor, or do you want to practice? If you
Mhm.
want to practice, you probably can't be that much of a mentor. Maybe you mentor one person or two people, but like, in order to build that firm really consistently, you need somebody who's going to take up that mentorship aspect of the business. And so you need to understand what's important to you, and build your practice around you accordingly.
Mm. Good stuff, Kyle. Appreciate your time, sir.
My pleasure. It's been a lot of fun.
Awesome stuff. Thank you all for tuning in to Go with Kyle Harbaugh. Whether you're planning to scale back, sell, or simply want your firm to run without constant supervision, succession strategy is the key to freedom and also legacy. To connect with Kyle and learn how Chief Go Officers support long-term growth, visit chiefgoofficers.com. And as always, be sure to like, subscribe, leave us a review if you found this information helpful. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time.
If you heard anything you would like to discuss with Kyle, please schedule a call with him using the link in the show notes. Please also be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review in the comments.